Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing well in this pandemic time. Now again I came with your new topic for revision today is paragraph writing. After paragraph writing we are going to deal with paraphrasing and summarizing. Now we'll see every topic in detail. What is a paragraph writing? Why we write the text in paragraphs? What's the purpose of writing the text in paragraphs? If you find your answers a lengthy answer of 2 to 3 pages or a 1 page answer, you will find that each paragraph you have few paragraphs in it. Why the answers are given in paragraphs? The purpose is that each paragraph has one theme or one idea, and the rest of the sentence just follows those ideas, and the command they just form a unity. Okay, now we'll see the introduction of paragraph. What is a paragraph? Paragraph writing also comes under writing skills. So if you practice, definitely you can achieve this skill also. So in paragraphs you have again 3 parts, as we have seen in our letters. In the body of the letter you have a 3 paragraph, that is a main. First one is the theme paragraph, next one is the main, last one is the concluding paragraph, the beginning, middle and the end. Okay, now we'll see a small definition of a paragraph. What a paragraph means. A paragraph may be defined as a single short piece of writing. A paragraph means it is a single short piece of writing dealing with one idea. One paragraph deals with only one idea. Okay, it doesn't have too many ideas or a single theme. It has one idea and one theme. So when you observe, when you read your answer, just focus. The paragraph speaks about which thing. It focuses on which theme or which idea it speaks. And the surrounding sentences which supports that theme or idea are just making it powerful, or we can say that strong. It is a composition of a group of well-connected sentences with a unity of purpose. They have a unity of purpose, means they unite together and for one purpose, for one idea, they just frame one after the other. Dealing with a single idea, the sentences are so arranged that they have one unity of thought. So one paragraph is one idea, one theme, or you can simply say that it's a unity of thought. So it is one of the characteristics of writing a paragraph, that the one paragraph should be arranged in such a manner that there is a unity between the thoughts or unity between the sentences. There should not be any digression or deviation from the topic. All the sentences deal with one topic, are linked here, one topic, and are linked with one another in such a coherent way, in such a unified way, that each sentence explains and amplifies the central theme, the central idea. Normally the opening sentence of a paragraph has the theme or the idea of the paragraph, which support other sentences just support that theme. In the first sentence is the introductory sentence. You have seen in a paragraph, first sentence is the opening sentence, and maximum you will get a theme or the idea of that particular sentence. Suppose whenever you get a paragraph and you have to just give a title to it, what you will do, you will just go through it, you will read each and every line, and in the very first few lines you will get the idea or the theme about about which topic they are dealing with. So in the first sentence is the introductory, the theme is stated in the second or the third paragraph. The theme, maybe the main idea, can be stated in the second or the third paragraph. The sentence containing the central theme of the paragraph is the called the topic sentence. The central theme of the paragraph which contains, that is known as a topic sentence. A good paragraph has a definite beginning. How many parts a good paragraph have? A beginning, a middle and an end. So altogether you have 3 parts in a paragraph. What is that? First the beginning, then middle, then end. As in the movie, as you see, there is an beginning without an end. The customer may get unsatisfied. The movie has been end without any conclusion. So even in the paragraph also, when you write, you should have a specific beginning, then it must have some middle part, the main part, middle part is the main part, then the end, the conclusion part. Does not necessarily follows anything. Next point, even though something necessarily comes after it, on the contrary, on the contrast, at the end is that which necessarily follows something as consequences, the result. At the last paragraph, what we show is the conclusion paragraph, is the end paragraph, where we show the result, whatever we got. Okay, and which is not itself followed by any such consequences. A middle one, a middle is that which follows something and which in turn is followed by something else. This one after the other it continues. Thus a well constructed paragraph does not begin or end haphazardly. Haphazardly means without any conclusion, or suddenly it won't end. Okay, for writing a good paragraph, you have to follow these things. First one is unity of thought is important. Means when you have a paragraph, every sentence should have a unity of thought, means every sentence should support that particular theme or the idea or the thought which has been told in that particular paragraph. Second one is clarity in organization. Clarity in organization in the sense is what? Means you have to organize the sentence in a proper order. It's somewhat like editing, you can say, in that paragraph. Then coherence, then unifying it. Okay, last point is free from digressions, means deviations. When one thought is said in one paragraph, another thought should not enter in that paragraph, and every point should support that particular paragraph or particular theme or particular point in it. So you should not deviate from that theme or the idea from that particular paragraph. Second one is, suppose if you see in your material, you got a material, right? So in that material you have a paragraph writing topic. From paragraph topic you can get two questions, actually previous Krishna University questions. Now we don't know which type of question paper they are going to give. So just for in a brief, I'll just explain you that in a paragraph topic you have two questions previously. Now they used to give one topic, any general topic they gave, and you have to write on that particular paragraph. Okay, it can be a general topic. As in your material you have my views on college life, my family. Okay, you have another one, greenhouse effect. These are the topics which have given. For example, just go through it and find it out how the paragraph has been made. So you will get one topic, and on that topic you have to write a brief note or brief paragraph, right? Second one, from this you may get that jumble sentences have been given. So jumble sentences, what you have to do is you have to rearrange these sentences. Now you have to create a paragraph by arranging these sentences in an order. Means which sentence comes in the front and which comes in the conclude. Means beginning, middle and end. You have to organize in such a way so that those lines which are given should be organized in a proper paragraph. So these 2 points you have to keep in mind while writing a paragraph. That paragraph has 3 parts, that is the beginning, middle and end. So whenever you get a general topic, whatever the topic is, first you just introduce about it. In the introduction part only you may give the theme of the topic, the title. Next one is the middle one, you will just discuss all the merits and demerits of it, and then last is the conclusion part or the consequences, what is the result you got after discussing all this. So in that paragraph you can write. Okay, Next topic we are going to discuss is all about paraphrasing and summarizing. So there is a small variation between there are a lot of differences, not small, there are a lot of differences in paraphrasing and summarizing. When the question is asked, just paraphrase this. If you got a paragraph, if they have given a paragraph of 10 sentences and they ask you to change it into paraphrase, or else they can ask you to change it into summary, how to change those 10 sentences? See, there is a small variation here that I'll show you in the table later on. Paraphrase, summary. You all may be aware of this word summary. Paraphrase may be new to you. Summary. In English lessons, prose lessons, at the end of the lesson you have an author's introduction and a summary. What does this summary means? Summary is the brief account of the lengthy matter, right? So by reading the summary of that particular lesson, you will get aware about the topic and you will know that what this summary deals with or what they are going to tell or discuss in this particular lesson or a prose. You will get an idea. Suppose take an example. You went to a movie. It's a 3 hours movie and you will get a break of 15 minutes and you want to tell that movie. So what you will do there? You will just summarize the 3 hours movie in 15 minutes and you will just tell to your friends, right? So that is the summary. Means cut shortened form without changing the meaning of it or the sense of it. Are you changing the story there? No. You're just telling the same story in just 15 minutes. So that is the summary. Paraphrase. Suppose a sentence, you got a paragraph of 10 sentences. Paraphrase is just the same of just 10 sentences. You won't cut short there. You'll just write same sentences. The length of the paragraph is same in paraphrase. The length of the paragraph is same. The paragraph what you have got, when you paraphrase it, the length is same. There is no change. But here in summary, the length is shortened. Means you will decrease the size of the paragraph. Suppose it is a 10 lines paragraph I said. With same 10 lines you are going to write the paraphrase. But here in paraphrase what you do is, whatever the words have been used in the original paragraph, instead of those vocabulary you will use some other words or other synonyms, or you can change the sentence formation by using different grammar structures. You can frame it without changing the meaning of it, and you can frame a new innovative sentence from those particular given paragraph. But here in the summary, what happens here is, what you will do is that you will just give an overview, your thoughts about that particular words, a particular paragraph in your own words. Okay, so that is the variation you have to follow when you write a paraphrase or a summary. Summary is the shortened form and paraphrase is of the same length as the original paragraph. Now we'll see each and every point of paraphrase and summary in detail now. Now paraphrasing and summarizing. Elements of effective paraphrasing. A successful paraphrase is your own explanation. What it is? It is your own explanation or interpretation. Interpretation means just putting their words or your sentences of another person's ideas. If I got some idea, I have framed one sentence. When you say the same sentence, what you will do? You won't use exactly the same words what I have used. You will create your own words and you will say that particular sentence in the same manner without changing the sense. The thing important is that you should not change the meaning of the original paragraph. Okay, paraphrasing is an effective way of restate, means retelling the same thing, condensed, or clarity. These are the three things you should remember. Clarity and another author's idea, is the author's idea, what is given in the original, you have to restate again without changing the sense or the meaning, while also providing credibility to your own argument or analysis. What you think, what you realize, you have to tell everything in it. Okay, while successful paraphrasing is essential for strong writing, unsuccessful paraphrase, see, successful paraphrase means when you have prepared a paraphrase of the original paragraph, it will become a successful when you use a vocabulary which is different from it but have a same sense. But unsuccessful paraphrasing, you can result in unintentional plagiarism. Plagiarism is what? Here you are not changing the original words, the same words are repeated. Okay, the same words are repeated by you also what is there in the original paragraph. Next point. Remember that paraphrase is not the same as summarizing. Paraphrase is different from summarizing. Just now we have discussed what is summarizing and what is paraphrasing. When summarizing is used to reduce the amount of information, here what we are doing in summary, we are reducing. Whenever you get confused, just remember the movie you have discussed with your friend in a short period of time, that is summary. So amount of information to make it easier read, paraphrasing restates. So what's the purpose of summary here? Suppose, just I have given example of a movie. Suppose the persons who are very much keen interested in reading the books, but they don't have enough time to read the books. What they will do? They will just go through the summary of an particular novel or a particular writer's book. But just reading that summary, they will get an idea about, okay, this particular book is regarding that matter, or it belongs to what you can say that it is just discussed about this particular matter in this book. They will get a clear picture, right? In paraphrasing, what happens? Paraphrasing restates the information in a new manner, in a new look. Okay, so summary is used for persons who doesn't have enough time, and paraphrasing is used to give the information in a new manner or in a new look. The table below will help you understand the differences between the two. Now you will see the difference between these two, paraphrase and summary. Paraphrase is a similar length to the original. Summary is the shortened or shorter than the original. This is the point you should keep in mind. Next one, the meaning is same. It is an overview of the main idea, overall idea what you have, okay, about the complete matter. Next, it includes examples and details. You can include your personal experience also, personal details also you can mention in paraphrase. Here we omit all those examples and details in summary. Okay, next point is it is used to provide evidence or support an argument. Next one, it is usually used as a background information. We won't give everything in detail in a summary. Next one, uses an in-text reference or a footnote with page numbers. We give a reference and with a page numbers also. Here without page numbers, we won't mention the page numbers in a summary. So these are the points you should keep in mind while writing a paraphrase and a summary. Paraphrase is of the same length, it is of the shorter size. Summary is short. Summary is again divided into two, that is precise, précis writing, and the second one is abstract. Précis is 1/3 of the summary, and abstract is 1/10, means too short, that we'll see later on. Next one, look at the following sentence. Now when you get a sentence and they ask you to paraphrase, how to paraphrase that particular sentence, we'll discuss some more examples in the later slides. Now see this one. There has been much debate about the reasons for the Industrial Revolution happening in the 18th century Britain. rather than in France or Germany. This is the sentence given to you and they ask you to paraphrase. How to paraphrase? Why the Industrial Revolution occurred in Britain in the 18th century instead of in continental Europe has been the subject of considerable discussion. So this sentence has been written in this way, but the meaning is same in both the sentences, both the forms. Next one, an effective paraphrase usually, what are the things should be kept in mind while writing a paraphrase? Has a different structure from the original. Means you should not use the same vocabulary or the same word or the same sentence when you write a paraphrase. It should be different, okay, different structure. Means sentence formation should be different. Suppose the sentence is in active form, you have to change it into passive form. But while changing that sentence, you have to be very cautious. You should not change the meaning of it. Next one, has different vocabulary. Okay. Next one, retains the same meaning. Meaning should not change when you write a sentence or a paragraph. Keep some phrases from the original because that are in common use. Phrases can't be changed. Right? Phrasal verbs or phrases, they won't be changed. They are common in use, so you can use that. Some tips for effective paraphrasing are given below. First thing, before writing a paraphrase, what things you have to keep in mind that by reading or seeing it once, you won't get an idea. You have to read twice, thrice. Sometimes it may take more than that also. Then also you should not hesitate and first try to understand what the paragraph is speaking about. When you know it, then you can frame it, because the vocabulary which you don't know and which for what purpose they have used there in that particular paragraph, if you know the correct meaning, then only you can correctly frame a sentence. So here, read the passage, you have to paraphrase. You may have to read it twice. You may have to read it twice or more than that also. Then also you have to put your maximum effort. You have to try to read that particular sentence and try to understand what the author want to tell in this particular paragraph. So first, when you read that paragraph, you have a rough reading, that is called as skimming. When you read when you read all the matter just at a one glance, that is known as skimming. When you read for the twice, when you scan each and every word and you try to understand what is written there, that is known as scanning. So these two type of skills are required when you read, okay, the skimming and scanning skills. Okay, so read it twice. Second point is look up any word that are unfamiliar to you. Means you have seen it for the very first time and you don't know what's the meaning of it, and make sure you understand the intention, what the author wants to tell in that particular context or in that particular paragraph, that you should be aware of it. Next one, put away the passage and in your own words. In your own words. Write a paraphrase expressing the main ideas of the passage as if you were explaining it to someone. So first thing what you have to do is you have to frame that particular paragraph in your own words and try to express your feelings that you are explaining it to someone else. Next one, now read the original again. So first one what we have done skimming, okay. Then you have just jot down the words which you find unfamiliar and you have expressed in your own words, and you try to express in your own thought, means own ideas. Then you will read the original passage again, compare it with your version, the writing what you have done, what you have drafted, a rough drafting, you just compare it with the original version, means original paragraph. Does it captures the author's idea, what the author want to tell and what you have written, whether they matches or not, you have to find it out. If it expressed in your distinctive is in an innovative style of writing. Does the paragraph use a range of appropriate vocabulary without repeating the word? What you have to remember, that once the word is used in a paragraph or in a one sentence, it should not repeat in the second or the third or in the other sentences. So you have to be very alert or very cautious that when you write a paraphrase, your vocabulary should change or vary from line to line if the same word is repeated. And the sentence structure from the original passage. If your answer is yes to these questions, your paragraph is probably effective. So these are the questions you have to ask to yourself when you write a paraphrase. The matter what I have written, does it match to the author's writing, or the idea what the author want to tell is similar to your idea or not, whether I have written the vocabulary in a different manner without changing the sense of it. Okay, these are the points should be kept in mind when you change a original paragraph to paraphrase. Next one, make sure you have cited sources where necessary and used quotation marks when using direct quotes. So direct speech, indirect speech. When it is a direct quote, you have to put inverted commas and you have to highlight it. Okay. Next one, when paraphrasing, avoid the following common mistakes. In the previous slide, we have seen what steps you have to take while writing a paraphrase. In this, what we have to avoid while writing a paraphrase, the common mistakes what the people do generally. So do not simply change around. Don't simply jumble the words from first to last or last to first. Okay, don't do that. Do not simply change around. Switch or shift words to make it sound new. Okay, to sound new, so do not shift or do not change the word or do not jumble the word in the same sentence again and again. Make a genuine attempt or a sincere attempt to understand the essence of the passage. Rephrase it in your own words. First try to read, understand, then frame it in your own words, but it should be a genuine effort or sincere effort, okay, in your own words. Next one, failing to acknowledge a source from which you are quoting material directly or as in text citation is a common mistake. So what the person is saying, and did you catch it or not, that is the thing you have to find it out. Failing to acknowledge, failing to understand what the person is telling in that quoted material, that you understood or not, that you have to check it very thoroughly. Avoid this by citing your source and placing quoted material within quotation marks. Suppose if you want to highlight anything which you want to quote, that you can use in your quotation marks also. However, you do not need to quote or cite the source of information that is common knowledge and is widely known or is available in multi places. Suppose it is commonly used everywhere, no need to quote all the time. Now, how to paraphrase a passage? When you get a passage, how to paraphrase it? A well-written paraphrase has the same meaning as the original. It won't change. The meaning is same as we have learned from the beginning. And is appropriately the same length and is of appropriately the same length. Suppose the passage is of 10 lines, then the paraphrase is also of 10 lines. Remember the point of a paraphrase to reduce but to restate. So what's the meaning? Remember the point. What? Paraphrase is to reduce, is not to reduce. The purpose of paraphrase is not to reduce but to restate. Restate means what? To retell the same thing in your own words. The following points should be kept in mind when paraphrasing a long article. When it is a lengthy one, how to paraphrase. Preview and read the passage closely. the same skimming and scanning you have to do. You will need to read the passage 3 or 4 times for thorough understanding. When you understand the passage properly, then only you can prepare a perfect paraphrase, or else it won't be a good one. Underline the keywords which are unfamiliar or which you find it is an important one, then just underline. When you read your material, what you do, when you want to understand each and every point, first you will do a rough reading, then you will go on reading the important lines. When you find some important word in it, you will just underline it, right? Underline keywords will help you to decide what is important in each sentence, every sentence, okay? And consequently, in the entire passage, at last in the total passage, you will find out some important words in it. Remember to look up any word you do not know. Suppose if you don't know the meaning of it, just take the help of a dictionary and try to find it out, the sense of it. Next one, read the passage in your own words. A rough writing, a drafting work you have to do. Go through the selection and rewrite each sentence using different words with the same meaning. In the synonyms you have to use. Okay, now next, fourth point, read the paraphrase aloud. You have to read the paraphrase or whatever you have written aloud, means with a loud sound, correcting any mistakes. If you find any mistake, you can correct it. To check for a well written paraphrase, ask yourself the following questions. Again, you have to, after writing a paraphrase, just ask yourself these questions. What are those questions? A simple question. Is the paraphrase approximately the same length as the origin? This is the first point you have to ask to yourself, whether the length is same or not. Second point, has any part of the passage been copied word from word? Second point, what you have to say, the sentence what you have written is just copied as the original. If the sentence is this one, you restate other ideas. Suppose take this sentence. You might have written the same sentence here also. You have to check. If you have written, then you have to correct it. Does the paraphrase have the same meaning as the passage? Third point, what you have to remember, that the paraphrase says the same as the original, whether the meaning has been same or has been changed. That points here. So 3 points you have to keep in mind. The length, whether you have framed in a different manner without changing the sense. Okay, so these are the with the same meaning. Now the techniques of writing a paraphrase. When you write a paraphrase, you restate others' ideas in your own mind. What you are doing here, others' ideas means the author's idea you are writing in your own words. That is, you write the meaning of the author's idea. You use some of the author's key terms, but you use many of your own words and sentence structure. Okay, you can use your own sentence structure also. There is no rigid restrictions. An effective paraphrase includes more than one of the following techniques. Change a word from one part of speech to another, means from noun to you can change into adjective. So this is different parts of speech you can change, such as, now see this one example, global changing global trends. This is the example they have given. What is the example? Changing global trends. How they have changed trends across the world. This is the example you have, global trends. How they have changed it, trends across the world. So this is the paraphrased sentence. Global trends is the sentence, is a 2-word sentence they have given. Global means what? World. Trend means a fashion across the world is also correct. Okay, so in this way you have to change a sentence into a paraphrase. We'll see some more examples of this and you will definitely understand what I'm going to tell you. Now, using synonyms. Next one is change the number or percentage to different forms. Okay, suppose they have asked you, they have given us 75% of the population, that you can change into 3/4 of the population. Okay, so numbers and percentages. Next one, change word form. This might include changing from active voice to passive voice or moving modifiers. However, remember that changing voice can influence the meaning and change the intent of the author. This device should be used carefully. So I told you earlier that when you change a sentence from active to passive voice, you should be very cautious because it may change the sense of it. Okay, so be alert while changing the sentence from active to passive voice. You can use different definition structure. See, we are seeing altogether 6 methods how we change the original passage to a paraphrase with one examples of each in the next slide. Next one is a sentence structure and use different connecting words. Using the different connecting words is conjunctions. Now see this one. To paraphrase a long passage, one should take notes. What you have to do? You have to take notes, means you have to write just important words and outline the passage that we have seen earlier. This will help to identify and restate the original sense in one's own ideas. When you write the words and you just underline the important lines in the original passage, you will get an idea what to write and how to present it in a proper paraphrase in one's own idea. One should change the words, but not the meaning of the words, and express the message in the same tone and the one. Okay, to change the words, one can use dictionary to point out synonyms. That's what I told you earlier, that if you want to know the meaning of the particular hard word, you can go through the dictionary, or if you want to find the synonym, then you can go with the dictionary. You can take the help of thesaurus. Okay, you have a one word, you have lot of words there, the word which has the same meaning. Check its usage and context. To express the original idea of the author, one can use words like, if you want to express, then you can use such type of words: states, demonstrates, predicts, investigates, identifies, argues, relates. These are the demonstrative words, or you can take the help of those words. Now, in the previous slide here, we have seen this one, right? Now, basing on this, we are going to see the examples. Now, see this one. Change word form of part of speech to another one. This you have seen. See the original sentence and the paraphrase sentence. This is the first sentence. What is the first sentence? The Indian customer is frequently biased in favor of or foreign goods. Okay, biased in favor of foreign goods means they mostly like the foreign goods, is a sentence given. Without changing the sense of it, how to write a paraphrase sentence? When Indian customer buy the goods, they show they are biased, means the partiality, means showing more interest for buying the foreign goods. The sense is same in both the sentences. Next example, the original one, you have to focus on the original and on the paraphrase. Both the sentences are same, but the sentence structure is different here. Okay, now first one, ABC news channel coverage is biased in favor of government. So the same sentence in paraphrase form: when ABC channel covers events, it show bias for government. We'll go with the next example with synonyms. Using the synonyms, the original and the paraphrase. Original, you will find original and the paraphrase sentences. So original sentence: Certain organization encourage grapevine communication along with formal communication. So grapevine is what? Informal. Okay, so see the paraphrase. Some organization encourage use of informal communication along with formal communication. So using synonyms. So grapevine meaning is informal. So you have changed this word here, right? Next one. Change the word order like active to passive voice. To active to passive voice. So see this one. And there is no particular restriction that the example which you got, you have to change into this manner only. You can frame your own sentences in different ways, in a possibility manner. Okay, so next one is from active to passive. The medical survey reports that cancer killed 1,000 people annually in the state, is the example they have given in the original passage or a original sentence. The passage, what you have to write into passive voice, changing that order. So the medical survey states that 1,000 people are killed annually in the state due to cancer. Or you can write that cancer killed 1,000 people annually in the state by the medical report, by the medical survey report. So anyone is correct, both are correct. Next one, use different definition structures. Means you can change the definition also, but it should not change the sense. That is the point you have to keep in mind. The original one. The botanical garden is a garden that collects, cultivates and display wide range of plants with their botanical names for research purposes. This is the definition given for botanical garden, what the botanical garden means. Now paraphrase. A botanical garden is a garden dedicated to collection and cultivation in their botanical names for display and research purpose. The sense is same, only the structure has been changed. Next one, original. Gamma rays contain high energy photons that have neither mass nor charge. This is the example. Now how they have written? High energy photons that do not have mass or charge are gamma rays. So you can frame in your own sentences. Next one, use reversal or negatives that do not change the meaning. This is the most important thing you have to remember whenever you write a paraphrase or a summary. Okay, thing is that you should not change the meaning of it. Now see the example. Fishes are only found in water is the sentence given, and you can write in another way also. Fishes are not found on land. The sense is same, means they were just found on water. Next one, the beneficiary of this scheme does not include retired employees is the example given. The scheme excludes. So include, the opposite word is exclude. So the scheme excludes retired employees from the list of beneficiaries. Next one is the using different connecting words. Now see the original one. As per the medical survey, 72% population of the state is affected with viral fever. The medical survey states that the viral fever has affected 3/4 of the population. So previously I told that 70% if they give, you can write to 3/4. If they give 50%, then you can write half. So in this way you can change a sentence from a original passage to paraphrase. Summary writing, a brief report. Now we are going to deal with a summary writing. The present day business executives or business officials have more work and lesser time, but they have a lot of interest in reading the books. Then how they come through, how they are going to fulfill their passion of reading the books. they are not positioned to read the whole content of the book. The whole book they can't read in a less time. So what they will do is, at the same time, there is a phenomenal expansion of the knowledge and ideas recorded in the flood of literature, which is available in the form of various articles and books in the form of hard copies or at internet. Business executive working in the knowledge economy cannot ignore the study of these books. They have found to read those books, so they can't ignore without reading those books and articles which are published. So therefore they need to read the summaries. What they will do, they will just read the summaries of these articles and books to capture the essential and the fruitful idea, what the author want to tell or what the author has written. They just want to catch that knowledge, okay, to enhance their knowledge. The summaries are usually prepared by secretaries and other middle level staff members for the top level executives, for the officer rank, for the executive officer ranks. When suppose if they have a meeting schedule is given, everything is given, the accommodation, the training timing, the schedule, everything is given. It has been mentioned in 3 to 4 pages, and the executive, the officer has lot of work. He doesn't have the enough time to go through each and every line. So what he will do, he will just read the summary of it. Okay, so and so time there is so and so meeting or so and so training they have. So all the summary work has been done with the middle class staff employees. Okay, a summary or a recap is shortened version of the original text, is the shortened. Okay, is a 1/10 or it can be a 1/3 part of the lengthy passage or the lengthy matter. Simplify the text and highlight the major point of the subject, like written text from periodicals, newspapers, books, films, events, etc. The purpose of preparing the summary, what's the purpose of preparing the summary, is to offer as accurately as possible the full sense of the original text in a more condensed, more shortened form that helps the targeted audience. Okay, only the target audience, the person who has a leisure time, enough time, more time, they'll go through each and every line. But they're only targeted audience, a few audience who don't have the enough time, but they have a lot of fond to read the papers or the magazines or the, what you can say, periodicals. They'll just read those summaries are the main ideas in a short period of time. In a short period of time, they'll just get a complete idea. Next one, the characteristics, the main features of a summary. It is shortened and simplified version of the original text. Next one, it restates the author's main idea. It is written clearly, arranged in a structural manner, is properly arranged, properly edited, one after the other, means you will see the unity of thought in it. Okay, it is written in indirect speech, and the original words of the author of the text are transformed in your own words. Means whatever is written, you will it's an overview. What we have seen, that summary is an overview of the complete passage. So you have to write in your own words what you have, your feeling about that particular passage. Next one, it is written in logical and chronological manner, means in the order wise, in a proper editing way. Next one, it focuses on the main points of that text and leaves the detailed analysis aside. Okay, if they give some examples or some incidents, they will just put aside those things and just they will focus on the main point. So it tries to capture the essence of the subject, the main theme of the subject in few possible words, and we'll see the examples also of it, that depict the message of the author in original form by omitting means removing an interpretation of the writer of the message. Unnecessary matters are omitted. Now, objective, what's the purpose of preparing the summaries? The broad objective of preparing summaries are as follows. First one is to simplify and shorten the text. Next one, to restate the author's main idea. Okay, next one, to save the time of time poor, means the person who doesn't have enough time. lacking time. And to the busy audience who are very busy, okay, to enable the reader to get the main idea of the subject without going through the whole text, to capture the essence of the message of the writer in few possible words. Suppose you want a book regarding your subject. There are so many books. You went to a library and you are searching for a good writer's book. What you will do? You can't read each and every page or each and every line of a book. Then you will just go through the summary. If you have a summary of it, then if you find it attractive, impressive, then you will just issue that book and you will just go through it. Okay, so that is the purpose of it. So for the busy audience and for the time poor audience, it is meant. Next one, difference between review and the summaries. Review. You might have seen a review in television or in shows, live shows. What happens there? By seeing the review, you will get an idea whether, suppose you went to a movie. When you go to the movie, you will see some reviews of it, whether the movie has got some rating or not. Then you will just visit that movie. In the same way, review is also their thoughts. So we'll see this one. In newspaper and magazines, we find reviews of books and articles, whether this book is good or not. They are going to give their own, critics, we can say that critics, a review and evaluation of a publication such as book, musical composition, article, etc., in a way to indicate the relative merits of the work and its utility for the intended audio. These reviews are different from summaries. Review contains the interpretation narrator. This is only for additional information I am giving you. This is not in your syllabus. Okay, just for an idea what is the difference between a review and summary, I am just explaining. Whereas summaries are usually free from their interpretation and to record the original. Okay, reviews are more critical evaluation. Reviews, what we can say, are critical evaluation. The person read each and every point in depth and try to understand what's the author's sense, what does it means, what's the purpose of writing. So it's a work of a critic. So it is a critical, in-depth evaluation, in-depth judgment of the work and explain the relative benefit of the intended audience, whereas summaries are free from the critical evaluation. In summaries, you need not have to give any critical comments on it. Okay. Next one, summaries is a shortened version of a letter, passage, report. You all, till now we have read everything. Now we'll just see summaries. It is also a great study aid. It is a study aid at the time of examination. You have a lengthy material and the time is less because you have to cover a lot of topics, lot of chapters. So what you'll do, you'll just go through the summary of it, and by reading that summary, it will give you a complete knowledge of that particular topic, and you will be very much satisfied by reading that summary that I have completed my syllabus for today. Okay, so it's a great study aid also, as you can condense essays, articles, chapters from books for future references. Summaries are of great help in checking if a book or an article is of relevance to someone working on a particular subject. It will help in a research project. Someone is doing some research in some field. He wants some reference books. So what he'll do, he can't read each and every writer's book or each and every author's book. So what he'll do is, he will just go through the summary and he will find if it's okay, he will just issue that book. They are also useful when you have no time to read. No time to read the original. Thus, scholars and scientists use summaries of research reports, articles and books to find out if they want to read the original text. By just reading the summaries of the articles and books, they will find it out whether they have to continue with that book or not for their further research. A busy senior executive, a senior executive means officer, would find it convenient to read summaries of a document or a series of letter. Okay, he will just go through the summaries of the letter. It has been given in your material also. If you just open it, you will get one example there. Similarly, newspaper reporters have to summarize speeches and reports of and the proceedings of various official committees. Suppose the minister is giving a lengthy speech of 1 to 2 hours. He can't fill each and every line whatever the the minister has said. He will just summarize that speech into a shortened form, and he will write and he will publish in his newspaper. Next one, the length of the summary varies. Now here we are going to see what is an abstract and what is a précis. Okay, the length of the summary varies depending on the original text and also according to the purpose for which it is written. For example, if a summary is written only to give the reader an idea of what a book or an article is about, it can be very brief. Say about 1/10 of the original. 1/10 of the original is called an abstract. It's a very short, a brief idea. What is it? A very brief idea about the original. Then we call it as an abstract. You read an abstract when you are searching for relevant material on your subject and want to check if it would be useful to read the original text. If the condensed, if the shortened version is meant to cover the main points of the original, leave this thing. Précis. What is it? It's about 1/3 of the original. 1/3 of the original is called a précis. So in the exam, when they give you a paragraph and they ask you to summarize into 1/3 part, means you are going to do a précis there. So you read the précis because you are interested in the original but have no time to read it completely, its sense. Next one, the function of both kind of summaries, means the abstract and the précis, is to outline. The purpose of is to outline what is said in the original passage and not to support or criticize it. You are not supporting anyone or not criticizing anyone. Okay, it's lacking time, which makes the person to read this abstract or the précis. In writing summary, you will need to use many skills. What is the first skill you required? It is an exercise in reading. Whenever you write a paragraph or when you write a notes or when you write a paraphrase or a summary, what you have to do, you have to read it. Reading skill, you have to improve your reading skill. You have to read it twice, thrice or more than that also. Skimming, scanning, these are all things you have to do. Understand. Okay, first you have to read it and you have to understand. That is the first step. Second one, it involves analyzing. Analyzing means understanding. Okay, what is read, selecting important points. Okay, next one, using note making skills. Using note making skills means preparing the notes which you feel important. Just jot down the important words or the important sentences. Finally, the third step is that it calls for the ability to rewrite the original passage. What it needs, you have to rewrite the passage again. Means the abstract or the précis you have to write. Means you have to give an overview of the complete paragraph or the passage briefly in your own words. Okay, stages of summarizing. Writing a summary should start with a careful reading. First step is that you have to read it careful. Already we have seen earlier that reading and understanding is the important thing. Followed, if necessary, by quick second reading. If you didn't understood by one reading, you can go with a quick reading with second time, especially when the passage is either very complex or packed with ideas. There's too much stuff has been given which is not easy to understand, then you can go with twice, thrice more than that. Okay, and difficult to understand. The next step is to identify the subject in it. What the author wants to tell in it. You have to identify the subject of the passage and the main points on the sub points. When you see the pollution topic in it, if you have air pollution, then you have some sub points also. First you have to find the subject, then the points and the sub points in it. Okay, in that way you have to write a rough notes. Write this down in number notes form and check the original text again to see whether you have left out any important points. So just write a rough note on it, and then afterwards you just check yourself whether you have completed everything or not. Use your notes to write a draft of the summary. Draft means a rough work. Okay, rough writing. Go through your draft and check every sentence to see if it has words that can be omitted or removed. Okay, when you write a rough drafting work, a writing work, if you find something unnecessary, you can remove, because we have seen in a summary, we won't give any additional information or examples what we have. So make necessary changes by editing. So second part is what? Editing part. So first one, you have just written some notes, some important words you have written, then you have just drafted, you have placed in a proper way, then you will just find it out and you will edit, means you will remove expressions and correct any mistake you have made. And what you have to do after editing, if you have made anything wrong, you can just correct it. One way of reducing the length of our text is by replacing phrases consisting more than one word with a single word. If a sentence has more than two words or phrases, that you can change into a single word. Now see the example here, how this sentence has been summarized. They welcomed the person they did not know. They welcomed the person they did not know. Means it has been shortened to the stranger. They welcomed the stranger. The person they did not know has been changed to stranger. So in this way you have to cut short without changing the sense of the original passage. Now see this one. Working with others to achieve something all of you want is the best way of ensuring success, is a sentence. What is the sentence? Working with others to achieve something all of you want is the best way of ensuring success, is a sentence given to you. How they have summarized: cooperation is the best way of ensuring success. So here, working with others, they have cut shortened it into cooperation is the best way of ensuring success. Now see the last example. Her handwriting could not be read is the sentence. How it has been summarized: her handwriting is illegible, means not easy to read. Next one. Now see the another example. He is able to do things by himself without the help or advice of others. This is a too lengthy sentence they have given. And how brief they have written in a summary. He is independent. He is independent. Okay. Next one. Another way of reducing the length of the sentence is to change its structure. Look at the sentence below now. See this example here. You can change it into compound complex sentence. For example, you can change into a simple sentence. Now see this one. The fact that he is both honest and intelligent is something that everyone appreciates. Everyone appreciates, now see this summary part, everyone appreciates his intelligence and honest. If you can do even in a shortened form, you can go ahead. Okay, there is no limitation here. Next one, the first prize was won by the boy with long hair. So here how they have written, the long haired boy won the first prize. Next example, we saw a train that was approaching. We saw a train that was approaching and got up from the platform bench. So how we have written, means you have changed the compound and complex sentence into a simple sentence. Seeing an approaching train, we got up from the platform bench. So in this way you can make your summaries and paraphrases. So in short, I'll just do a small revision of it. Paraphrasing is of the same length of the original passage and summary is the shortened form. In both the paraphrase and summarizing, the meaning should not be changed. It is always same as the original, and the vocabulary and the words whatever you use in paraphrasing should varies from sentence to sentence. If the same word is repeated from beginning till end, you have to use different synonyms of it. If you can't, take the help of a dictionary and make a effective paraphrase and summarize. Summarize is a shortened form. The lengthy passage could be written in a 1/10 or a 1/3 part as the question is asked. 1/3 is a précis and the 1/10 is the abstract form. Okay, hope well you are all doing well now. So stay home, stay safe. Thank you.